So when looking for accommodation, there should be three or four main things you factor in when you're looking for it. First, and probably the most important, is the price. Huge factor, especially for me, it was a huge factor in deciding where I wanted to go. Second factor is where it is in the city. There's a few different areas, and this can actually affect your university experience quite a lot in first year. Then it's whether you want a catered accommodation, your food provided for you, or self-catered accommodation where you make the food yourself. And finally, a bit of a small one in my opinion, but if you're desperate for an ensuite bathroom, that's something you should take into account because it's not something universally offered by the accommodation. I am going to try and keep this video brief, so I'm just going to be quoting the cheapest price for each accommodation, whether it's catered, self-catered, ensuite, not ensuite, and also just a few of my general thoughts, as I have been to most of the accommodations through friends or whatever. So the three locations that your accommodation will be at the University of Manchester is the city centre, city campus, Victoria Park or Fallowfield. And I'm just going to start off quickly by going through city campus. So I believe there's 4 halls, and Parkview, Denmark Road, Whitworth Park and Weston Hall. And the biggest takeaway I got from this is that it's a very liberal use of the term city, because it's, other than one hall, it's not particularly any closer than any of the Victoria Park halls, certainly. But these are generally a 10-15 minute walk from the university, probably a 30-minute walk to the city centre or a shorter bus. But let's get into them now. So I'm going to start off by talking about Whitworth Park, which is located closest to the university. Actually, it's probably a 5-minute walk away. And this has the nickname Shipworth Park by its residents, and you can probably infer from that it's not the most salubrious place. So this accommodation is £180 a week and it's self-catered. Personally, I believe, and from what I've heard, because I've got multiple friends staying there, that you're basically getting what you pay for at Whitworth Park. It's not expensive, it's not excellent, but it's a place to stay. The vibes are good. Everyone's really friendly there. Everyone's friendly in most of them though. And it's great for making friends. There's a bar within the accommodation that you can use, and it's pretty cheap in comparison to Manchester prices at least. But yeah, there's not much more to say about Whitworth Park. Now we're going to talk about Denmark Road, which is the opposite end of the spectrum to Whitworth Park. It is £199 a week, ensuite self-catered, and it is an absolutely lovely building. It's about 10 minutes from the university. I've heard mixed reviews about this though, 'cause I have heard some people say it's not as clean as I'd like it to be, but in general the bedrooms and communal spaces are lovely. I'll put some pictures on the screen, of course. It's a bit more expensive, but if budget's not as much of an issue for you and you want a bit of a quieter area close to the university, this could be an excellent choice for you. Next I'm going to talk about Parkview, which is quite similar to Denmark Road. It's a bit further away, 5 minutes, and the area it's in is quite a bit less desirable. For example, the actual entrance has turnstiles for security purposes. But yeah, so Parkview is £191 a week, self-catered, ensuite. But I personally believe the bedrooms and living spaces in Parkview are excellent. They are gorgeous, and you know, if you've got, similar to Denmark Road, you've got more money to spend on accommodation and you want it a little bit quieter than some other places we'll mention later on, but also you want to be close to the university, this could be an excellent choice for you. Oh, I'm getting a proper sweat on. I'm filming this on one of the warmest days of the year so far. So next I'm going to talk about Weston Hall, which is genuinely one I'd consider in the city centre. So Weston Hall is a 10-minute walk from the university, but also a 10-minute walk from Piccadilly Gardens, which is very central. It's £185 a week. It's ensuite and self-catered. I found Weston Hall to be very mediocre, like not terrible at all, not excellent at all. The main attraction for this is its positioning, so it's quite close to the city centre, so if that appeals to you, it might be an excellent choice for you. The only thing I would say is I felt that they were a bit more alienated from the rest of the university, so you don't often mingle with people from other accommodations as much as people from other accommodations will. But if this isn't an issue for you, it might be an excellent choice for you. So next we're going to talk about Victoria Park, which is an area that is renowned for being a bit more quiet. It's sort of halfway between Fallowfield and the university, and this is where I spent my first year. So I think I'm a bit more qualified to talk about this than the others. I'm just moving the car into the shade because it is so hot right now. So I'm going to start off with Brook Hall, which is a little bit out of the way, but it's £205 a week. It is ensuite self-catered, and this is one I've been to a couple of times because I've got a friend who lives there. And I just thought the rooms are very nice, the bathrooms are nice, and the shared like kitchen living room is very nice as well. But I did think it's quite a lot of money for the for what it is. However, it is the university partnering with sort of an external provider, you know, like IQ, I can't remember who, Unite Students provides this one. So it is a nice accommodation, a bit out of my price range, might not be out of yours. I'll put some pictures on screen, and if it's up your street, it's a great option for some people as a more luxurious yet quiet option. So next I'm going to talk about Dalton-Ellis Hall, which is catered 5 days a week. It is shared bathrooms, and it's Victoria Park, of course. So Dalton-Ellis, a couple of the blocks have undergone renovation recently, and they are very pleasant actually. They have very modern kitchens, however the bedrooms in Dalton-Ellis do leave a lot to be desired, and I do think they are subpar for the price point of £174 a week. That being said, the catering is always useful, I find. It's in a very quiet area actually, Dalton-Ellis, and it's quite pleasant for that, especially in the autumn mornings. You can just go for a run in the morning, and it is very serene, very nice part of Manchester in my opinion. And then I'm going to talk about Burkhardt House, which is attached to Hulme Hall, making it outshone immediately. No, I'm joking. So Burkhardt House is £172 a week. It is self-catered accommodation, and it is ensuite as well. I just found Burkhardt overall to be quite nice, but not amazing, not terrible, just middle of the road option. Although one of my friends does have a pet rat called Andrew that they acquired at Burkhardt House, so if that sort of thing puts you off immediately, I just want to put that out there. Although it has been a problem with multiple accommodations, so I wouldn't hold it against Burkhardt specifically. Next I'm going to be talking about Canterbury Court, and I'll totally level with you guys. I did not know this existed until I researched for this video. But it looks very similar to Burkhardt House in the sense it's £172 a week. It is self-catered ensuite. And I don't have much more to say about it than that. It looks fine. In a quiet area, again, a bit more out the way, I'd say, than the others. Probably about a 20-minute walk to the university, but also a 20-minute walk to Fallowfield, which can be beneficial too. But yeah, that's Canterbury Court for you. Sorry if I've just disrespected anyone who lives there. Next I'm going to talk about Daisy Bank, which is again Victoria Park. It is sort of leased off external company called IQ, who provide the accommodation, so it's a bit more expensive at £191 a week. So my assessment of Daisy Bank were the rooms are really nice, they're very clean, beds are comfy. The only thing I would say is I do think the kitchen's nice, but it's a bit less than what you'd expect from something at that price point. However, it's something that can be overlooked because it is a really nice accommodation if it's within your budget. And yeah, it's quieter than some alternatives, probably similar to Denmark Road, a little bit cheaper though. But yeah, then I'm going to talk about Rusholme Place, which is quite close to where I was, and it's been known as like the Ohio of the University of Manchester accommodation. So it's £173 a week. Sorry, it's only called that because there were like 3 different fires and there was something new going on there every week, which is more the residents than the accommodation itself. But it's £173 a week, self-catered, ensuite. And I personally found that the rooms and kitchen, the quality of the rooms in the kitchen was very good at Rusholme Place for £173 a week. The flats were also shared sort of between 3 to 5 people, which is a small flat size comparatively to some places that are between 9 and 11, and I think that's very beneficial. Overall, there's pros and cons, but in general I'd say that is a big pro of Rusholme Place. So yeah, I think if I had my time again, this would be a place I would have considered more, with more research. So hopefully this video helps with that. Then we move on to St Anselm Hall, which is a bit more out the way than the other accommodations. It is catered 7 days a week, I believe, and it is shared bathrooms. However, I found the rooms a little bit like old-fashioned style, and I personally really mess with that vibe. I think it's really cool. It's not for everyone, so I'm gonna throw some photos up, obviously, right here. But in general, it was a bit out of the way, very nice and quiet. It's quite a small accommodation as well, comparatively. And also the dining hall is beautiful, especially compared to Hulme Hall, which we're going to come on to now. I have a lot more to say about Hulme Hall than the others. That's because I lived there, I spent a year there, and I absolutely loved it there. So Hulme Hall is, for you guys, will be £186 a week. It is catered 7 days a week. It has shared bathrooms as well. I personally found it an excellent experience because it has so many extra facilities as well. There's a bar on the site, which there's a bar on various other ones as well, but I didn't really visit them, so I can't go into them that much. There's a gym, free. You can get in for free, basically. There's a table tennis room, which was quite a good place to host parties, I can't lie. And we had a snooker room as well, and all that's with the bar. There's also a music practice room if that's something you're into. It wasn't something I utilised at all, but I know a lot of people who did. There's also a little study room in one of the blocks. But yeah, I found the rooms to be quite spacious comparatively to others. Food was decent. There's a full kitchen, which is a privilege that I think no other catered accommodations get. They get a small kitchenette maybe, but we had a full kitchen, everything you need to cater yourself if that's what you want to do. And other than that, I guess the only downsides were it's a bit less social than other accommodations, because you don't have flats, you have sort of a big corridor that everyone's on. And you don't see, at least my experience, I didn't really chat to people as much as people in other accommodations did. But other than that, I thought it was a great experience, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone who's on the fence about it. Sorry, I keep changing the filming location, and I'm not sure why, but we're here now, and we are moving on to the final part of the video, which is about the accommodation in Fallowfield. Now, Fallowfield is, sorry, it's quite loud. I'm going to move again, you know. But Fallowfield is a student community with all of the accommodation in one little area. And in general, Fallowfield is a lovely area for students. Lots of bars, lots of curry houses. But generally, probably the most desirable of the three locations you can be in. Although that is definitely open to interpretation depending on your needs. It's more social than the other places. It's also louder than the other places. And I'll be living there next year, so I'm going to start off with Ashburne House. This was my first choice accommodation when I was applying. It is an absolutely beautiful building. It is catered 5 days a week, 2 meals a day, like the others, well, most of the others, and it is £175 a week for your catering and shared bathroom and your room. And honestly, I just love the vibes of Ashburne Hall. It is a very cool place, and there's a library which is absolutely gorgeous. The common rooms are very cool. There's pianos, there is a music room as well. All round, it's quite a cool place, and all of my friends that I know went there, had a great time there. And attached to Ashburn is Sheavyn House, which is £172 a week, and it's another catered ensuite accommodation. Just like Canterbury Court and Burkhardt House, I found Sheavyn House to be quite middle of the road. It'll fit all your needs. There's not a lot going on there, but it is also in Fallowfield, which some people will consider a perk over the other accommodations. But yeah, in general, it's there. It's quite a cool place, next to Ashburn as well. And I should have mentioned this as well, but in any of the other accommodations, you can pay a bit extra to go to the catered places to get catering as well, which will set you back like an extra £1 or £2. But if you really don't like the idea of cooking for yourself and you got the money to do so, it's an option there for you. Here's another accommodation I've never been to. I'll hold my hands up, and it's Uttley House. Uttley House is a self-catered ensuite accommodation, and it's £196 a week. So Uttley House is located in Fallowfield. I've not heard much about it, I've not been there, but looking at the videos, the actual bedrooms seem very subpar for the price point, but the kitchens and common rooms look excellent. I am also aware I'll just let this car go past. I'm also aware there is a cafe coffee shop open to residents and non-residents, so that is quite a cool little aspect. I'm just going to zoom through this one. You've heard it all before. It's Richmond Park, £172 a week, ensuite, self-catered. So it's similar to Burkhardt, Canterbury and Sheavyn, which I've mentioned, but that's not a bad thing. It's a very got everything you need accommodation. It's in the heart of Fallowfield as well, which is excellent if that's what you're looking for. Then for £175 a week, we have Woolton Hall, which is catered 5 days a week and it has shared bathrooms. I had a friend in Woolton Hall. She had a great time there, and so many cars. The one time I'm filming, so many cars. Anyway, she had a great time there. Rooms are okay. Kitchens are basically non-existent, but overall quite a nice accommodation. If you want the catering, if you want to be in Fallowfield, this is your only option other than Ashburn, so that's worth bearing in mind if you really are wanting catering, as I did. Okay, hair's not looking great. I've left these two to last for good reason, because these are probably the most desirable ones for completely different reasons. And we're going to start off with Unsworth Park. Unsworth Park is a ensuite self-catered accommodation for £207 a week, and it is a very new campus and it is very luxurious. So this is probably like top of the range accommodation, and it's located in the centre of Fallowfield, next to the Armitage Sports Centre, next to all the other accommodation. And yes, it's the most expensive, but you see where your money goes. The bedroom isn't quite as big as you'd expect, I don't think. They are single beds, but it's very modern, very sleek, very nice. Not quite my vibe actually, but I definitely understand the appeal. Kitchens are nice, and I must also add that the social spaces are excellent. Like, completely wipe away every other hall's social space, in my opinion. There's also a lot of spaces available in Unsworth Park, so if it's within your price range, it is definitely one to consider. If you've heard any controversy about Manchester halls of residence, it's most likely about our last hall, Oak House. So Oak House is a self-catered shared bathroom within the flat, and it is £113 a week, making it the cheapest of all the accommodation. And last summer before I came, Oak House got, like the cars go past, Oak House got lots of renovations, so it is not completely the cesspit it once was. It does cater for a very specific taste though. It is a very social place. It is a very loud place with like waffle thin walls, so you will be kept awake at night quite often, but it is very social and not as bad as it once was. It's very, very affordable, the most affordable option of all the halls I've covered today, and in general the vibes are excellent. Obviously it isn't for everyone. I can totally understand why some people have had bad experiences there. There are also some issues like leaky water pipes, stuff like that. But in general, I think Oak House is an excellent option on a budget, and just for those wanting to have a good time at university, you know?
So that concludes this video. I'm sorry if it's a bit long. I haven't edited it yet, obviously. And I was also very brief with some of the accommodations, so I understand you might have some questions, and if you do have more questions for me, please just add them to the comment section. I will answer as many as I can to the best of my ability. Obviously, I've not had experience with all the halls. I think I've covered all the halls, however, and I have got opinions from other people on the vast majority of halls. So I wanted to give a holistic view into the different options available coming to the University of Manchester, because I understand when I was applying, I was really unsure with the options available. I didn't really know what to go for. I didn't realise the benefits of some, didn't realise the drawbacks of others, didn't really understand how different catered, non-catered, ensuite shared bathrooms would be. So I hope these are things that I've all covered, and like I say, any further questions, please just ask. And thank you for watching the video, guys. I really appreciate it. There'll be many more coming your way soon.